Julia here. I'm sharing a layout that I created with my November 2014 Counterfeit Kit Challenge kit. Yes, it is quite old because it's August 2016. I've had the kit out and I've been playing with it and working with it for a good long time. And I thought, well, create another layout with it. I still have some full-size 12 by 12 pieces of paper in it. So you can see I started off with a bunch of scraps. And this background paper is from My Mind's Eye. And I have this piece of canvas paper in the kit as well. The original inspiration kit over at the Counterfeit Kit Challenge blog had a canvas alphabet. And rather than create a title with this canvas sheet, I thought, well, why not, just use it to layer on the background. Just give some added texture. So I cut the canvas piece down to fit behind there, and then I've pulled some photos out. This is of my youngest granddaughter, Ellie. And this was, gosh, I can't remember now when the photos were taken, and I don't have the layout right in front of me. Maybe May of last year. I think that's when it was. She was like 13 months old. She had been walking for a little while, but still kind of wobbly on her feet. She was walking, like all little kids do with that wide stance walk, and so we had snapped a couple of photos of her as she was waking up first thing in the morning. And she was just so cute. So I'm pulling some other scraps out and just and I'm cutting off each edge of this paper because it has a distressed finish around the edge, and I don't want to just cut one side off and then have distressed on the other end. So I thought, well, let me just cut that piece off and we'll go from there. And I'm pretty good about when I find something I think I'm going to like, I pick it and stick it, is in my mind. And I used the adhesive in my glue runner on there, but I've since had to go back and add glue dots because it doesn't stick. I've added glue dots behind the canvas piece and then the stuff that I layer on top of the canvas piece, and you can see I'm putting some glue dots here, and I've had to go back and add some others as well. I'm really struggling to get those glue dots down and keep that adhesive down there as well. And once you put glue dots on the back of something, it can be a bit difficult to get it back up. So I want to make sure that I have it in the right place to start with. But I didn't get glue dots all over the back of it, which I should have put more on, but I didn't. Anyway, so I have since then done that. I am adding some additional layers behind the photo, just some more scrap pieces of paper. The only full-size sheets of paper that I have cut into are actually from the My Mind's Eye background paper and then the Paper Studio canvas paper. The rest of the paper, the pattern papers that are on this layout are all scrap pieces of paper. And so I'm deciding where I want to put my photo at. My central photo. And I think it's going to be there, and then I kind of think, well, maybe, and I'm looking at these other photos that I have. I want to layer them up here. And again, I'm using my adhesive on there, but I end up having to go back and add lots of glue dots. So I'm just trimming them down just a wee bit more. I've kind of arced them a little bit to where they're in just a little bit of an arc there. And then I'm looking to see which papers that I need to cut down a little bit more to make the mats behind the central photo a little smaller so that it fits in the space that's there. And I'm mashing the heck out of them, but yeah, really it doesn't work because I didn't add the glue dots. And for some reason, even liquid glue I have found does not work well with adhesive or with the canvas backgrounds when you use any type of textured fabric on your layouts, because it just soaks right into the background and basically makes a stiff spot. And then the embellishments, whatever you add on top of it, will pop off. They might hold until you get them in your page protector, and then over time they're going to pop off. They just will. Believe me, I have learned over time that this is what happens when I've gone back and I've looked at albums that I've made, you know, even months before. I've found embellishments at the bottom of the page when I've used fabric and liquid glue or just my regular adhesive on it. So I have found that the glue dots are the best thing to use when you have any sort of fabric type texture that you're putting embellishment or paper on top of. So I have that one little box of embellishments there. They're chipboard embellishments, but most of them are travel themed. I've been able to use a couple little bits and pieces out of there, but for the most part I haven't used many embellishments out of that, only because I haven't done any travel layouts. So I'm looking around still trying to figure out if I'm going to use anything else on there as far as stamps go or embellishments. I still have on this kit, I still have quite a few embellishments left, and I have used tons and tons of these stickers and embellishments, and because the kit was so amazingly huge to start with, I think that's why I have so much still, and why I'm having such a hard time giving up continuing to use it, because there's so much left in it. And I think the layouts that I've created, they all have, well, with the exception of the Christmas album that I made with this kit, and those have a somewhat similar feel only because I used a lot of the same papers and embellishments on the different layouts, because I made that 8.5 by 11, so I had a lot of cut off scraps to do that with. And so now what I have left, I still have a lot of 12 by 12 papers. God, I must have started with 40 or 50 sheets of paper in this kit. And I used on the Christmas album I created, on the 8.5 by 11 layouts, I used all cardstock. Not necessarily cardstock that I had in this kit, but cardstock that I had that was 8.5 by 11, so I didn't have to cut that down. The pattern papers that I used for backgrounds there, of course I cut down. So, and I think all the layouts have a different, all the 12 by 12s have a different feel to them. And unless you absolutely know that they were all in the same kit together, I don't think you would know that they were all in the kit together, if you know what I mean. And I'm still just playing around. I took a ticket that had a potty person on it, and I covered that up with some tape, some washi tape, and then I put that little saying there, and glued the other little piece of paper on top of that and then added it down. And I'm still just looking around. I have gone through these stickers numerous times, and I haven't used a whole heck of a lot of them. As far as these American Craft stickers go, they came out of one of those sticker books. And so I have tons of them. A lot of them have a food feeling, and I haven't done any foodie type layouts with them, so, or with this kit, so maybe I need to keep the embellishments together so when I create the Christmas album I can add in a few additional stickers to the layouts that I created there, because I didn't use as many stickers on those as I did on the 12 by 12 photos where I've added the photos down. The 12 by 12 layouts that I've added the photos down. Where would you use a rooster sticker? I'm looking at that thinking, and every time I look at it I think to myself, where can I use that sticker? I don't know. It may be one of those things that when it gets to the end of that, when I get to the end of that sticker sheet, that I'm not going to use it anymore, I may give it to my grandkids and maybe they'll have a fantastic way to use a rooster sticker. And you can see that little embellishment cluster there at the top was already on the paper. All I'm doing is adding some additional stuff to it. And for some reason I cannot get those little trees straight on there, and it makes me nuts, because I want them to rest right there on the border, and it finally, I get them semi-close and then I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to touch them anymore. Just leave them alone. And so I'm adding a few little additional things up there just to dress it up a little bit more and give it the same feel that the bottom, the stickers at the bottom that I've added, I want to have the same feel towards the top. I don't want that one to feel like it's completely different. Now I'm looking through my rub-ons, and I put a couple of packages of rub-ons in here, and most of the rub-ons that I've used so far in this kit have been okay. They're all really old. I haven't bought any new rub-on stickers in a very long time. And so what I typically do, with the exception of when they're in a kit, and sometimes even within the kit I will keep them in a plastic bag, but for the most part I keep them just out and open when they're in the kit. But when I put the kit away, I'll put them back in a Ziploc bag and keep them there, and that tends to keep things a little more sticky over time. And I know that with the rub-ons, if they don't have a sticky texture to them, they almost always will never work. Or that's what I have found to be true. So I always, before I put any down, I will touch the back of it to see if there's any sticky left. And so if there's no sticky left, then I know if I'm going to put something somewhere and use it for an embellishment somewhere, I want it to be someplace where I can cover it up if I want to. You know, if I can add additional stickers or whatever to cover it up if it doesn't come off or it makes a mess. And I've got these, I think they are basic gray, the little punch out banners there, I think they're basic gray. I'm not 100% certain, but I've had them in this kit and I've pulled them out dozens of times and looked to see if I can use them, and I haven't so far until this layout, and then I was finally able to use one of them here. I love it when they create embellishments that are already sewn for you and you don't have to do anything but, you know, basically pull them apart, pull them off the carrier paper. I don't like to get my sewing machine out. I'm pretty lazy as far as that goes. I'll take my sewing machine out occasionally to fix something or repair something, but to actually sew on a scrapbooking layout, not going to happen. just not going to happen. I guess I come at it with a seamstress point of view, and I know what all that glue and stuff, if it gets down in your mechanisms, how it can really jam up your machine. I've seen other crafters who have gone through several machines in the time that they've been using their sewing machines on their layouts, or people who have wrecked their machines and not been able to use them anymore. And even though mine's not a terrifically expensive sewing machine, I'm not giving it up for sewing purposes, because I do still use it. So I love these embellishments that come already sewn. And I'm just using glue dots behind some of these little banners to kind of keep them down where I want them to be. And I'll go back through and add banner or glue dots behind each of them to hold them in place. I'm nearly to the point where I'm done with this kit and I'm done creating with it. I still have some 12 by 12 pieces of paper in there, and I've kind of closed the kit up and set it over to the side, but I still have quite a few videos to post. I think I still have several other process videos to post that I created with this kit. And so I hope to get those up in the next couple of weeks. I've come to the realization, because I don't use the newest and the latest and the greatest products, it really doesn't matter when I get these videos up, because I've come to realize I like videos that show people using their stash. I don't necessarily care about the newest and the latest and the greatest products. I mean, I like them, sure, who doesn't? And if I find some of them at the store, I'm okay with that too. I'll buy some of them. But as far as having to buy everything as soon as it's available and use it up right then, nah. I have my own room for my scrapbooking stash, and I keep everything there, and you know, it's not going to hurt my feelings if it sits there for a while. If I love the product, I will eventually use it, and I really don't care that it's going to sit there for a while. Those pieces that I don't love, I try to move into my kids' stash, my grandkids' stash, so that they can play with them. But the stuff that I really love, I'm going to put it back and try and use it again and again and again until I get it used up. And I already know some of even the scrap bits of paper that I have in this kit, I know some of them will go back into my stash. They'll go back into my scrap bins because I love that paper or whatever, and I don't want to not use it up. So I'm looking here at my little banner, and it has a, instead of a nice rounded edge, it kind of had a very straight edge there. And so I was trying to lift up the glue dots and move it a little bit. Yeah, not happening. With glue dots, it doesn't matter how lightly you press them down. Once they're down, they're down. So I'm adding some, they're the enamel dots from Hobby Lobby with the faceted edges, and they are so pretty, and I love these colors. And I'm finally getting some of them used up here. Some of the brighter colors will have to go into another kit. They'll go back in my stash for another time, but some of these other colors I'm able to use, so I'm loving that. And I'm writing the date there and where the photos were taken. And just adding a little bit of journaling here. Maybe talking about her early morning bedhead. She's so cute. Anyway, that's my layout. Thanks for sticking around, watching till the end, and I would love if you would hit the like button, or and the subscribe button. I think it's fun to get new subscribers because I know those people are interested in seeing layouts made from stash, older products as well as newer products, and I appreciate that too. Anyway, thanks guys, and I appreciate you for sticking around. Have a great day.